Today, we're going to unravel one of art history's biggest, most fascinating puzzles. We're talking about a name that's basically synonymous with genius, right? But here's the twist. In his own time, he was seen as a total failure. This is the unbelievable story of Vincent van Gogh. To really get Van Gogh's story, you have to start with a number. This one, 1. That's how many paintings he officially sold in his entire incredibly productive career. Just 1. Now keep that number in your mind.
And now look at this number, $82.5 million. That's what a single one of his paintings sold for, long after he was gone. The insane gap between those two numbers, that's everything. It's the whole mystery we're diving into today.
I mean, that's the million-dollar question, right? Or I guess the $82.5 million question. How do you go from total obscurity to a global icon? The answer isn't just about painting. It's about resilience, it's about vision, and it's about completely changing the definition of what success really means. So, where does the answer begin? Well, it starts with the very thing that made him an outcast. We're going to see how what everyone saw as his biggest weakness was actually the source of his unbelievable genius. You know, Van Gogh wasn't some child prodigy. Not at all. He kind of stumbled through life, trying and failing at a bunch of different careers. He was an art dealer, a teacher, he even tried to be a missionary. Art wasn't his grand plan. It was more like his last shot, the only path left when every other one had been closed off. And this, right here, this is the core of his story. That intense sensitivity that made people see him as an outsider, the feeling that he was just too much for the world. That exact same trait became his artistic superpower. It's what allowed him to look past the surface of a person or a landscape and capture its actual soul. And you can see it in his own words. For him, painting wasn't just copying what he saw. It was a kind of translation. He wasn't painting what sunflowers looked like, he was painting what they felt like. That sensitivity was his lens on the world. But having this unique vision, man, it came at a terrible price. His art wasn't born out of some comfortable, easy life. No, it was forged in the fire of constant, relentless struggle. Just think about this for a second. His poverty was so bad, so extreme, that he often had to make an impossible choice: eat or buy paint. And he almost always chose the paint. His commitment was just absolute. He put creating his art above his own survival. It's a question you have to ask, right? It clearly wasn't for fame. It definitely wasn't for money. So what was it? What was the engine inside him that could justify this kind of suffering for a craft that, let's be honest, nobody seemed to want? Well, a huge piece of the puzzle was his mental health. He described it himself as trying to paint with a broken brush. Imagine that, a constant, exhausting fight against your own mind, just to be able to do the work to get your vision out onto the canvas. And yet, and this is the incredible part, it was from inside an asylum, from his absolute rock bottom, that he painted the Starry Night. His most famous, most beloved art came directly from his deepest pain. It's an unbelievable paradox. So you've got poverty, rejection, and this profound mental illness. What on earth kept him going? Turns out there were two critical lifelines that kept him afloat when everything else was pulling him under. He was driven by this powerful, unshakable belief that his art could actually make people feel less alone in the world. And he had this deep, profound love for the things he painted. But honestly, more than anything else, he had the unwavering support of one person, his brother, Theo. Theo wasn't just a brother. He was Vincent's patron, his confidant, his #1 fan, and really, his only connection to the world. He was the one who funded Vincent's life, sending money for paint and for food, month after month, year after year. But it was more than the money. Theo gave him faith. At a time when the entire world was basically screaming at Vincent that he was a failure, Theo's letters were a lifeline carrying one single powerful message: your work matters. Keep going. That kind of belief, it was priceless. And that brings us to his real legacy. Because if he wasn't painting to be a success in his own time, then who was he painting for? Well, he was painting for us. He was sending a message into the future. This just flips the whole idea of success on its head. For Vincent, the value was never in the sale. The reward was the act of creating itself, the process of seeing the world, of capturing some moment of beauty or truth and getting it down on a canvas. And this was his true purpose. He wrote in his letters that he was painting for someone he would never meet, someone just like you or me, hoping that his work could make them feel a connection, maybe feel a little less alone in this world. That was his real audience. So, what can we all take away from this incredible story? Well, his life offers this really powerful set of lessons, a sort of Van Gogh mindset for anyone out there trying to create something meaningful. Okay, so it pretty much comes down to this. First, your worth is not your work. Rejection of what you create is not a rejection of you. That's huge. Second, create for the joy of it. Focus on the process, not the applause. Third, find your Theo. Everybody needs someone in their corner who believes in them. And fourth, trust the process. Your breakthrough might come much later, but the work you're doing now, it still matters. It really, really matters. When you really think about it, Van Gogh's story is this powerful argument for being your authentic self. His inability to be anyone but Vincent was both why he was so isolated and why he was a genius. He teaches us not to water ourselves down just to fit in. And his life leaves us with this incredible idea. The very things that make you feel different, that make you feel like an outsider, they might just be the source of your greatest gift to the world. They called him mad for seeing all that swirling energy in the night sky. And now, millions of people travel the globe just to get a glimpse of it. He sold one painting, but by redefining what success meant to him, he gave the world this timeless gift of beauty and taught us that what truly matters is the vision you leave behind.